Today, I'm giving you the 17 money rules for getting rich today. These are things that I have learned over the years as somebody who has bought and sold over $100 million worth of real estate and generated over $50 million in revenue across my other businesses. So let's jump into rule number one, and that is you've got to go all in on one thing. Too many people right now are trying to diversify and, do all these different things. They're like, yeah, I might do some real estate. I also want to create content. I also, I'm thinking about, doing stocks, and I'm also thinking about buying a business. It's like, dude, I get it. Social media has so much going on right now. There's so much noise, but you got to focus in on one thing. A lot of clients that I've worked with struggle with this. They might make $500,000 in a year and they're already thinking about starting a new business. And I'm like, dude, you need to just keep going harder at the one thing that you're doing. And that is applicable to somebody who has had success, like the person I just mentioned, or somebody who's just getting started trying to figure it out. They're not making any money yet. I mean, if you're not making any money yet, you better go all in on one thing, one skill, one business, whatever the case is. So quit getting shiny object syndrome, quit quitting, when that one thing didn't work for the first month of trying it, and all of a sudden you think that, you got to go do something else. Like, just stay focused on the one thing that you are doing. Okay? So that is number one. Rule number two, don't sacrifice everything. So many people, have this agenda of like, oh, well, if I got to be successful in making money, that means other things must sacrifice. And once again, this applies to people who are just getting started, and this applies to people who are trying to scale. It does not matter what stage you're in. You don't have to sacrifice everything. I wrote a book called The Wealthy Way. Don't go broke trying to get rich. And it's this principle that, yes, you can have it all as long as you do the right things every single day. And doing the right things does not mean you need to work 80 hours a week to become wealthy. I mean, I'm telling you, as a guy who has built multiple 7- and 8-figure businesses, who has bought hundreds and hundreds of properties over the years, like, I didn't have to go work 80 hours a week for 10 years straight in my 20s. Right now, running all my businesses, I work Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. I don't work the weekends. I haven't had to sacrifice everything to get where I'm at today. And I don't plan to sacrifice everything to get to where I want to be, because guess what? I'm still not anywhere close to where I want to be. One day, hopefully, maybe I'll be worth $100 million. Maybe one day I'll be a billionaire. I don't know. It's not necessarily a goal of mine, but the point is, I know that I can reach high levels of wealth without having to sacrifice everything. And that is applicable to wherever you are at. It doesn't matter if you're getting started or you're trying to scale. All right. Rule number 3, understand budgets. So you must understand, what your personal budget is, what your business budget is, what your self-development budget is, all those things. Now, when you're first getting started trying to build wealth, you need to make sure that every dollar you are spending is spent towards your own self-development. Like, truly, at the end of the day, the only way you grow wealthy is developing new skills. And we talked about, going all in on one skill. And usually to develop a skill, it requires you to spend money. That requires you to spend money on mentors, coaching, systems, seminar, all those things, right? Either way, you're going to have a budget towards your personal development. But that means you have to budget from other things. So if I am trying to go all in on my business and generating wealth in terms of, my money spent, I need to make sure that I'm not spending money in things that don't help me accomplish that goal. So I don't want to be spending money on, having nice clothes and having a nice watch and all these things. I don't need the latest iPhone. I can get an older one. I don't need, a super nice car right now. Like, go out and grind it out and earn it. Don't try and buy all the nice stuff when you haven't earned it, right? People who make money, there's nothing wrong with having nice things if you're actually making good money. But the problem becomes when you aren't making that much money, when you aren't actually that successful, yet you still buy the nice things, whether you finance it and do all these other stuff. So, my philosophy is when you're first starting out, be super frugal with your budget. You don't need to eat out at the nice places. You don't need the nice clothes, the nice things. Even where you live does not need to be that nice. Like I lived in a little 2-bedroom apartment when Mindy and I got married, and we always lived in properties that were well below our means. We always drove cars that were well below our means. I mean, I became a millionaire in 2018, okay? And I was driving at that time in 2018 what was I driving? Mindy was driving a 2007 Toyota Camry Hybrid, okay? So it's 2018, she's driving a 10-year-old plus car. I was driving a 2013 Lexus RX that I paid 20 grand for, and those were our cars. You know, we paid a combined 30 grand for the cars when we bought them, and they definitely weren't even worth that by the time, 2018 came around. So my point is, take all your budget of, the things you haven't earned yet, and just be frugal on all these things that don't help you reach your goal, and reallocate that towards your personal development and building your business to generate wealth. All right, rule number 4, get around money. If you want to make money, get around people who have money. It sounds simple, but most people that I talk to who are trying to build wealth, they hang around people who are not wealthy. They listen to people who are not wealthy. They'll listen to their parents who haven't made money. They'll listen to their friends who are always talking about what could be. Their friends are telling them they're crazy because, they're watching these videos and they're getting all hyped up and they don't want to, have them leave them potentially as friends. And so they kind of bring them back down, right? You got to get around people who are actually making money because those people are going to help you think differently. You're going to see wealth firsthand, and it's going to make you believe that it's possible. Like, I can't tell you how many times that by going and seeing something, like I remember the first time I ever went to Grant Cardone's office. It was in 2022. I went to his office. I saw his operation. I saw their workshop space. I saw everything, and I was like, wow. Like, I see it. Like, I knew he was wealthy. Like, I knew he was successful, but seeing it firsthand, talking to him firsthand, changed my perception of all of it. It just was more real. And so from there, I came back to my office. I built my own workshop space. I ended up, redoing a lot of different things based on what I saw there. And that's going to happen to you as well. Once you start getting around money, you are going to see how it's created. You're going to start thinking differently. You're going to understand the lingo. And that is the only way that you're going to keep growing and getting around people who are also going to present you with more opportunities. Recently, I actually just bought a property from one of my friends in the country club. It's like I would have never got that opportunity to buy this house that's going to be a great deal unless I was around money. Some of my people that I'm around in other spaces, they've invested with me on real estate deals. So my point is, if you get around broke people, you're going to get broke people opportunities. You get around wealthy people, you're getting around opportunities that wealthy people have. It's that simple. Okay? Real estate investors, are you tired of getting low quality leads and talking with sellers who've been hit up by everyone else? Well, what if you could get inbound leads of motivated sellers on autopilot without any effort? Well, that's exactly what we do at Lead Kitchen. Over the years, I spent millions of dollars on direct-to-seller marketing. I've done PPC, I've done TV commercials, I've done cold calling, text messaging, direct mail. I've done the pay-per-lead services. And look, all of them can work. A lot of them don't. At the end of the day, I have found a new method that is getting me better results than I've ever seen in my career. I'm getting lower cost per leads than ever before, and it's not just in Las Vegas, it's across the country. And so if you want to take advantage of this new innovative marketing strategy that takes no effort on your end, I want you to go to leadkitchen.com and book a call with my team today. Imagine having my team running your marketing with the same leads that I'm getting in my business. That's what you can have. So just go to leadkitchen.com today and book a call. Rule number 5. You need to understand both long-term and short-term wealth, okay? So short-term wealth would be what I define as your active income. And so you need skills to create active income. I don't know any rich people that, got rich quick that did not make high amounts of active income, right? And this goes back to rule number 1 of going all in on one skill, right? If you can get really good at, say, real estate investing and, specifically short-term wise, let's say house flipping and wholesaling, because those make you money quick. That skill will make you a lot of short-term income. Now, the other beauty of real estate investing is that you can also use that same skill to create long-term income. Because now, instead of flipping and wholesaling that same house, you can start to keep some of them. And so by keeping some of them, you are now building this long-term wealth. You're getting tax benefits, you're getting appreciation. Down the road, you might get some cash flow. And so a lot of great things are going to happen because now you're building short-term wealth by providing and making money today, and then building long-term wealth for tomorrow. The thing that most people screw up is they usually only do one or the other, right? So people who are just only focused on the short term are usually always working paycheck to paycheck, right? I mean, they're just focused on making their next dollar. They're never investing it into the future. Maybe they're spending. They're not good at budgeting like we talked about earlier. And so, they're just very short-term focused, right? Then you have people who are just purely long-term focused. And so, they're not making much active income, right? But they're like, oh, I gotta save. And then, I'm gonna take what little I have and I'll buy a rental property, right? And then, I'm gonna save, and then I'm gonna take what little I have and buy a rental property. A lot of people would think that person who I just described is a very smart person. They are a very, great steward and everything else. And I would say, whoa. Not so fast, okay? I actually don't know that they're any different, any of those two people, okay? Because the second person, the person who's building strictly for the long term, I can tell you this, because they're so frugal, that's the only way for them to build long-term wealth. They're not living the best life all these years that they have to do this, right? Now, some will argue, well, you don't need money to be happy and, you can live a great life being frugal. Okay, whatever, you can. All right, I've been frugal and I've had a great life too. So I'm not disagreeing on that part. But they ain't living a better life than the guy who is focusing on the short term. And that person is, obviously spending their money, doing cool things. And then, by the way, too, the short term person who is making a lot more money has a lot more resources to do good in the world as well. They're able to go give to the causes that they want. They just are making more money right now. They have more resource, okay? So my point with all this is the short term person who only focuses on the short term is enjoying life along the way, but they're never building for the future. And then, once the future comes, they end up paying the price because they don't have this nest egg that, the other person would have. But on the flip side, the person who only focuses on the long term is basically not living a great life in the short term. And then, they've got a potentially better life in the long term, but guess what? Now they're old and I'd rather enjoy wealth when I'm young than when I'm old, right? There's actually a really good book called Die with Zero that kind of talks about this concept where a dollar is worth more to you today when you're younger than it is when you're 70 years old. And that is absolutely true because give me $1 right now to go enjoy my life because I'm younger, I can experience more things, I have more energy, I have more strength than versus now I got $10 when I'm older. Well, guess what? I can't enjoy life in the same way. I'm older. My body's not as physical, all this stuff. And then, he even makes the argument that when you make money in the short term, or not when you make money in the short term, but when you spend your money when you're younger, you actually get to retain those memories and enjoy them for the rest of your life. And so when you really think about it, I don't know that the frugal person playing for the long term actually ended up making the correct decision versus the short term. You can make an argument both ways. But the way you actually win is by doing both, which is what I'm saying. Learn how to do short term and long term. Live a great life now and also be building for the future. Because both can happen if you're good at making active income and you're good at investing it into long-term assets. All right? Rule number 6, invest in yourself above all. You are the best investment, okay? Real estate's not the best investment. Crypto's not the best investment. Stocks aren't the best investment. You are the best investment. And it's true, right? Like, I am going to generate the most wealth for me with my skill set. My ability to make videos, my ability to sell, my ability to start businesses, my ability to communicate, my ability to hire, my ability to lead a company. All of those skills that have taken time and money to develop will make me far more money and wealth than just, trying to invest in a stock with no skill and letting somebody else just manage it, right? Skills are the most important thing you can develop, period. That's how you generate massive amounts of wealth. When people try to, just take the easy way out and say, oh, well, I'll just let somebody else manage it. There's nothing wrong with it per se, as long as you have other skills that make you money. But if you're just doing it because you don't want to develop any skills and you're like, well, I guess it's better, just have somebody else do it for me. It just is what it is. Like, you need to develop skills some way, somehow. You are the best investment. That is the number one key to building wealth, period. Your wealth will go only as your skill set grows, okay? Number 7, specialize, don't diversify. So most people think diversification is good because it's not as risky, right? When you get your eggs in, a few baskets, diversification, can help you if one of the eggs falls and whatever else, right? But when you're trying to build wealth, wealth comes from specialization. You think when Jeff Bezos started Amazon, he was starting 10 other companies at the same time, trying to hedge his bets against Amazon? No, he went all in on Amazon. Every great entrepreneur went all in at whatever it is they were doing. And this isn't just about starting a business, but this is also about existing businesses that are doing good. And so, if I'm trying to specialize, this could be with my marketing. Okay, so right now, our number one marketing channel across all my businesses, period, is Facebook. So, or we'll call it Meta. Okay, so we run Facebook ads for my house flipping company. We run it for my education company. We run it for my lead generation company. We run Facebook ads. That is our specialty. I have not worried about trying to learn other things for the last bunch of years. All I've worried about is getting good at running Facebook ads, Instagram ads. They're the same thing. So, does it mean that I should never learn YouTube ads or these other types of advertising? No. But until I am dominant and until I feel like we've reached our capacity at this one marketing channel or we're making enough, then I should not worry about anything else. And so I'm choosing to specialize in this one niche. Same thing is true with a product or your investment strategy. There are people who are like, well, I want to diversify my asset portfolio. So I want to do stocks, I want to do real estate, I want to do this. And it's like, okay, if you are ultra rich, you've got tens of millions of dollars, then yes, diversification is good. For most people, it's not. For most people, if you want to get wealthy quick, you need to specialize in one investment class. And, there are niches within the niche, right? It's like, okay, if you're in stocks, maybe you specialize in tech stocks. If you're in real estate, right? You could be in single family, multifamily, you're going to specialize in a certain market, Airbnb, pick one and specialize in whatever that class is, because you're going to know that class better than anyone. And you're actually going to have less of a risk of failing by being an expert at one thing. Okay, you think LeBron tries to be good at football and baseball and everything else, or did he just specialize in basketball and he went, all in on that? Well, clearly he went all in on basketball. It's paid off. And now he can go do other things. He can go be in Hollywood. He can go and start different product lines and mess around with that stuff because he became so great at one thing. So specialization. Okay, number 8, start self-educating for enjoyment. So we talked about how you are your best investment, but you need to really take that into a lifestyle. And so for me, when I look at what I enjoy doing, I actually really enjoy self-educating. I enjoy reading books. I enjoy listening to podcasts. I enjoy watching YouTube videos of great creators and entrepreneurs and pastors and people that I follow. I enjoy consuming that kind of content. And if you're watching this right now, I would assume that that's probably you too. It's funny because, part of my story is I played pro baseball for 8 years. So my, more of my life was dedicated to sports than it has been to business and YouTube and other things, right? That I'm now, which is what I do. But, majority of my life was based around sports. And so what did I do with all my time? I spent, watching sports and, watching baseball games. And, that was a form of self-education, I guess, because, my craft was sports. And so the more I could watch people who are really good at it, the better I'll get, right? And so I guess I was always doing self-education now that I'm just even making this video and thinking about it in hindsight. But nonetheless, when I got out of baseball and it was no longer relevant to me, I realized that, dude, I don't even have any desire to watch baseball or basketball or football. And it's not like I don't like sport. I do. I'm a Packers fan. Now I'm a Raiders fan here in Vegas. I like the Lakers. I like LeBron. I like watching these things. Does it mean I never watch them? No. I'll turn on a game if it's on for, whatever, a couple of innings or a quarter or whatever the case is. But by no means am I getting season tickets to the Vegas Golden Knights and spending, the next 80 games or however many they play, attending every game and getting season tickets and whatever the case is. I'm not no sports, junkie. But there are people like that, right? There are people who have to watch every game. There are people who have to, watch every Netflix show. There are people that, have to do all these things that are entertainment. and they do them for enjoyment. And look, like I said, I don't think there's anything wrong with having enjoyment, but if you really want to get rich and you really want to grow, start rewiring your brain to enjoy things that, help you self-develop, that make you smarter, that give you a bigger mindset, that help you grow. Those are the things that you need to learn to enjoy, and it can change. Like I said, I was a sports guy my whole life. I moved over to watching other things that I enjoyed more. Rule number 9, get in the right community. And so your community is going to dictate so much about your growth. First I talked about get around where money is. Community is part of that. But, even getting around a community where people who maybe don't have money yet but share similar values and mindsets to you is going to be so important, right? I mean, this is exactly what the church is, right? I'm a Christian. My community is my local church. And we get around other believers and people of faith. They don't have to have the same, net worth as me, or even close to the same business or, desire to make money that I do. But because I'm in community, it just helps me just overall in my life. It helps me stay grounded, stay true to my morals, my core values, and everything else. Now, the local church is one example of a community. Another example would be, people in your industry or niche that are like you. So for any of you watching this, you should be in Wealthy University. That's our community. If you go to wealthyuniversity.com, you can go try it right now for $3. And you can be around other entrepreneurs and other real estate investors. There's lots of people in Wealthy U that are just getting started, never done a deal, don't have a ton of money. Then there are lots of people who have done hundreds of deals, have lots of money, and are there to help those other ones who are just getting started. So inflation is crazy. Right now, $3 won't even get you a gallon of gas or a cup of coffee. But the good news is it'll get you my wholesaling blueprint and a trial to Wealthy University. You might be wondering, Ryan, what are those? Well, Wealthy University is our online community where you're going to be able to network with 6, 7, and 8-figure real estate investors and entrepreneurs. We have live calls every single week. You can come and ask me questions directly every single Tuesday, and you have access to all of our courses, all the recordings of WealthCon, and exclusive events. Along with that, you're also going to get our wholesaler's blueprint, which is going to give you all the scripts we use when we talk to sellers, all the contracts that we've used to lock up hundreds of deals, and you'll even get my contractor's guide, which gives you all of the materials we use in our house flips. And if that wasn't enough, I'm also going to give you a copy of my 2 books, The Wealthy Way and Flip Your Future. All of that will be yours for just $3 by going to wealthyuniversity.com. There is no better deal for $3, especially when inflation's on the rise. So instead of maybe getting half a cup of coffee, go to wealthyuniversity.com and go get the wholesaler's blueprint and your trial today. Being a part of a community of like-minded people is so important. And when you really think about it, you only have so much time and energy to be a part of communities. And so for me, I'm very, very limited and choosy about what communities I want to spend my time with. And so obviously I'm a part of my own communities that I've started, like Wealthy U, but I'm a part of my local church and maybe a couple of other things. But that's it. At the end of the day, I don't have time to be in 20 different communities or 10 different communities. You really got to go all in at a certain amount of communities where there are people that fit, what it is you are trying to do, because they're going to encourage you. You're going to feel like you belong. Communities have been around since the beginning of time. They are ultra, ultra important. Rule number 10, failure is a lesson. So most people are so scared of failure that they just don't even take action at all, because they're like, well, if I fail, that means, that's the end. That's not what I want to do. Whereas successful, wealthy people know failure is just simply a lesson of what not to do. And it's a lesson that's going to get them to doing more of the right things. I can't tell you how many times I have failed in my business career. I've lost money on deals. I've had to shut down multiple businesses. I've had to deal with lawsuits. I've had to deal with hate. I've dealt with so many things. The only thing that separates me from the next guy is I just keep going. I don't quit after failure. And I also am not scared to fail. I will go full force in what I believe. And some of those things have worked out amazing, some not so amazing. But either way, when it didn't work out, in my mind, I did not fail. It was just simply a lesson of what didn't work. And then I pivoted and started doing more of what did work. And so failure is going to happen. You cannot be scared of it. You must embrace it. You must be okay with failure. That is how you are going to get to the next level. People who are broke are so scared of failure because they failed maybe once, or they failed at a couple things, and they just don't have any confidence that anything they do will work out. Whereas rich people know that failure is an inevitable part of success. Rule number 11, set your goals properly. So many people don't realize how to set goals. And I talked about earlier, I wrote the book, The Wealthy Way, and in that book I talk a lot about goal setting. You guys can go check it out on Amazon and give it a read. We talk about how to set goals in different areas of life and all that. But not even with setting in different areas. Let's just talk about, like, even when it comes to wealth specifically, setting the proper goals. Like, I'll see people who are just getting started who are like, future billionaire in the making. It's like, bro, no, okay, don't even say that. Just let's set a goal that is at least somewhat attainable here soon, okay? Too many people are like thinking so far down the road. They're thinking in La La Land when they haven't even done anything specific, like really notable right now, okay? Like, let's get some wins under our belt. Like, when you're thinking about the billion and you're never gonna get there, you're gonna feel like a failure, right? Let's try and get some wins and set some reasonable targets right now to stack wins. Because when you stack wins and you get momentum, that's gonna lead you to getting more success and setting bigger goals. Like, I love accomplishing goals. I'm not one of these guys who sets just such crazy goals that I never hit them. I wouldn't feel good. Like, I want to hit my goals. That is a goal of mine, to hit goals. So, when you're setting goals, it's okay to have big dreams and everything else of one day what you want to become, but what's the goal right now I can hit that's at least the first stepping stone to get there? Rule number 12, learn how to delegate. So one of the reasons that I've been able to grow multiple businesses at once is because we've gotten really good at delegating. Right now in my company, we have about 45 employees, and they all have different roles. I got my media team, I got my marketing team, my sales team, my ops team, events team, they're all over the place, right? And with those teams, we're able to do a lot at once. We can put out a lot of content, we can throw big events, we can lock up deals every day, we can sign up new students, clients, do lead generation for people. The list goes on and on. To build wealth, you've got to do it with other people. You can't build wealth alone. It's very difficult to be a solopreneur. It's very difficult. You're always going to be capped on what you can do by yourself. And so the sooner you learn how to delegate and trust people and attract talent and hire people, the sooner you will start to build more wealth. Rule number 13, double down. Whenever something is working, you have to double down on it. So many times they'll get something to work really good and they're like, all right, sweet, now I'm going to do something else. And the reason I'm saying this is because I've been guilty of it. When you have something that's working really good, double down on it. Don't think about what else you could do. Like, light it on fire, and don't even double down. 10x, 100x it. Literally ride it to the moon until it does not work anymore. And that's what we do with marketing. That's what we do with everything. It's like, if I found something that's working really well, why would I try to find something else that works really well? I need to just ride this thing until it stops. And this thing for most people is they just don't want to go deep with whatever it is they're doing, whether that's a product, a marketing strategy, a business, whatever else. The reason I have less businesses now is because I've just realized that if I just go deeper in the things I know really well, which in this case is real estate, specifically house flipping and wholesaling, I could go so deep if I just focused on those things. And that's why, now you see me just promoting, Lead Kitchen, which is our lead generation for house flippers and wholesalers, and Wealthy University. That's it. You don't see me promoting all the other companies and things that I've done. I have other companies still, but I'm not promoting them. I'm not focused on them. I'm solely focused on the things that I know I can go way deeper in. I'm not even close to going as deep as I can at those two things. And those two things impact my house flipping and wholesaling company at Home Run Offer, where we're doing more deals than ever right now because of how deep and focused I am on it. So when something is working, double down. Rule number 14, always provide value. So this is a new lesson for me. Even though I've been creating content and trying to provide value like this for free for a long time, I've realized that when you provide value in just about everything you do, you will inevitably grow in wealth. You're just providing value and utility to the world. So for instance, this video is free for you to watch, but there are gonna be some of you who like it so much that you're gonna say, hey, you know what? I do wanna join Wealthy University. I do wanna do Lead Kitchen. I do wanna invest with you, whatever the case is. It's only because we provided value. It's not that I have to sell you, it's that you're just getting value And, people who get value, whether it's the law of reciprocity or whatever else, they want to give back. They want to work with people who give them value. And so, I've kind of taken this approach to everything we do. I'm like, all right, how do I provide value to my employees? How do I, on sales calls, which are sales calls, how do we just provide value to these sellers or to these prospective clients and students? Like, you know what, even if they don't do business with us, let's just give them a ton of value on these calls, and whatever happens, happens. And we have seen that sales are better when you are constantly giving value and educating and everything else. And so, and I've seen that over time too, like, our event WealthCon. They're not like the most profitable events in the world for me, but guess what? We just really focus on giving a ton of value, and that's why we get repeat customers, people keep coming back, all of those things. So just give value in everything you do, all right? Rule number 15, utilize technology. Right now, there are so many tools, more tools than ever available to us. AI is changing every day with its capabilities. Actually, running businesses and generating wealth is becoming easier than ever because of tech. It's crazy to me that I can get thousands of views on a video like this, and it costs me nothing to post it. With other forms of advertising, it costs you money. But because social media is free, basically you, the viewer, are the product. It's free for us to post. It's free for you to consume. The trade-off is they're going to send you ads and everything else, right? But overall, social media as tech can help businesses tremendously. It's made me literally tens of millions of dollars because of social media and utilizing tech. Now we use ChatGPT. Now we use other AI tools for editing and things like that. And it's just made my business so much better. And so you got to always be utilizing what tools and tech are available to you if you want to build wealth. Rule number 16, embrace sales. You need to embrace sales, and you can't be afraid to ask people for money. You can't be afraid to ask people to buy your stuff. Go for the sale. Too many times I see when people are trying to make money, they're like, oh, I don't want to be pushy, or oh, I don't want to ask them for money. Oh, I don't want to do this. It's like, dude, how else are you going to get money? Like literally, the only way to get money is for people to give you it. They have to give you the money some way, somehow. Either they're paying you for a service, a product, whatever else, right? So why do we struggle with, asking people for money, asking for the sale? Well, it's just not natural. It can be, salespeople have a bad reputation in a lot of industries. And so we kind of look down on it. But the truth is, you got to always ask for the money. You got to ask for the sale. Embrace getting better at selling. Because at the end of the day, everything you do in life is sales. If I'm trying to get my wife to do something, I'm going to have to sell her on the idea, right? If I want my kids to do something, I got to sell them on the idea. My employees, I'm constantly selling them that, this is a great company to work for. And it's not like me saying, hey, this is a great company to work for. It's through my actions, through my vision, through the way I speak, through the things they see every day. Whether they realize it or not, whether I even realize it or not, they're being sold every single day that, hey, this is a great place to work. This is where I want to be. This is where I see my future. And so you gotta get good at selling in everything you do in life. Rule number 17. This is the last rule. And by the way, the reason I picked 17 is because that's my favorite number. I was born April 17th, and it's always been my number. So that's why we got the 17 money rules. But anyways, if you made it to this point, number one, I want to congratulate you. And I wanted to save the best one for last. And it is also maybe the most boring. But rule number 17 is this: wealth is built over a long period of time doing the same thing. That's what wealth is. You're not going to get wealthy overnight just because you learned this new thing and you did it for a month and whatever else. Wealth is built literally just doing the same thing over and over for a long period of time. Amazon got built by Jeff Bezos, just building the company over and over over a long period of time. LeBron James got wealthy shooting and dribbling and practicing basketball for years and years and years over a long period of time. I've been doing real estate since 2010. I'm in year 15. Been doing the same thing for a really long period of time. That's what it takes to be wealthy. Do the same thing over a long period of time, and you will have wealth. So if you like this video, make sure you subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.